All right, today we're diving into a body of work its author calls the new science. And let me tell you, the claims it makes are about as big and as bold as they come.
Right out of the gate, we get this, wow, a staggering claim. This isn't just a science, it's the most important science for humanity. That's not just setting a high bar. That's throwing down a gauntlet to, well, every other field of study out there. So, what on earth could possibly justify a statement like that?
Yeah, exactly. A claim that huge needs a rock-solid foundation. So let's pull back the curtain and see what this new science is actually built on.
To really get our heads around this, let's start at the beginning, with its origins and what it claims to be.
The first thing the author wants us to know is that this wasn't just some idea that popped up overnight. No, this is framed as the result of over a decade of deep research and, importantly, real-world application. The message here is clear. This thing has been tested.
Okay, so to understand the grand vision, we have to zoom in and look at the building blocks. The fundamental ideas. So what is the new science at its absolute core?
Here we go, our first core definition. The new science is basically the study of us, our human attributes, how our brains work, all with the massive goal of building a better society. But here's the key part, the how. It plans to do this using something called human physiological parameters as the master blueprint.
Now, right at the heart of this entire framework is what's called the human thinking function. The author argues this is so much more than just being smart. It's the fundamental engine inside us that creates everything, from scientific breakthroughs to economic wealth. In this worldview, the health of this single function literally determines the health of all of humanity.
And this thinking function isn't just one thing. It's actually a mix of our belief systems, our sense of purpose or mission, and our ability to use logic. And what's really fascinating here is the admission that this very same function can produce pure objective truth, or, as the source puts it, wildly concocted ideas. It's kind of our greatest strength and our biggest weakness all rolled into one. So this brings us back to that master toolkit, the human physiological parameters. These are defined as the complete set of human attributes that should be the absolute, non-negotiable standards for building any society. Think of it as the ultimate rulebook for what humans actually need to thrive. So we have the concepts, but what's the end game? What is all this for? What is the actual stated purpose of this science?
Well, the goals here are massive, and they work on two levels at once. First, for you as an individual, the goal is the health of the human thinking function, which is basically your mental and cognitive well-being. And then for all of us, for society, the goal is to use those human physiological parameters as the blueprint for everything. It directly connects our inner personal world to the outer world we all share.
Now, you don't create a science this ambitious unless you think you're solving an equally massive problem. And according to the author, the need for this isn't just some theory, it's urgent, it's an emergency.
This slide just lays the whole conflict out so perfectly, doesn't it? On one side, you have humanity's potential, described as the greatest and noblest special life in the cosmos. That's huge. But on the other side, our current reality is painted as this nightmare of blind mutual deception, oppression, and even self-destruction. The new science is positioned as the only bridge across that terrifying gap.
So, what's causing this disaster? What's the root of the problem? The text points a finger at a fundamental flaw in how we build our societies. They're designed to serve a tiny minority, not the vast majority. And the analogy it uses to describe this is, well, it's one you won't forget.
And there it is. The purpose of society, as it's often set up, is compared to raising pigs for meat, raising cows for milk. It's this idea that the general population is just being farmed, treated like livestock, all for the benefit of a small ruling class. It is an incredibly stark, provocative, and honestly disturbing image of how things work.
So, after presenting this entire framework, the problem, the solution, the stakes, the author does something really interesting. They don't give us a neat little conclusion. Instead, they finish by turning it all around and posing a direct challenge to every single one of us.
The first question is all about awareness. It asks, point blank, how much do you know about this? It's a direct challenge to really engage with these ideas, to look past the surface.
Then, it shifts from knowledge to preparedness. The source is absolutely certain that if this is applied, huge, comprehensive change is coming. And so it asks you, are you ready?
And it all comes down to this one final question. After defining the science, outlining the problems, and forecasting this massive change, the ultimate challenge is handed over to you. It stops being about what this science can do, and it becomes about what you can do with it. A really provocative thought to end on. What can you contribute?